I was just a boy, Christmas brought so much joy. Couldn't wait for the presents and laughter. I couldn't sleep late at night, looking for Santa with lights. Those are the memories I still remember. Then I became a man, lost sight of who I am, but right in front of me was the answer. 'Cause on Christmas I feel joy, and I turn back to a boy. The answer is to stay young forever. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song, this is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song, this is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song, this is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song.
Hello, Star Wars fans. You know, there's just 321 days until Christmas 2023. Well, welcome to the show today. It's great to see all of you here. And we're going to talk about the Bad Batch and some other Star Wars jibber jabber. And of course, you're going to have jibber jabber. You've got to have my friend Star Wars Meg on the show. Thank you for being with us today, Meg.
Hello.
And of course, we've got Jason Ward, the one and only Jason Ward. Wrong hand signal. Wrong show.
Not to be mistaken with his brother.
Sorry.
Star Wars.
Yeah, wrong show, Jason. That's right. Yeah, this is a Christmas flannel. My wife got me this for Christmas, so this is truly a Christmas flannel. There you go. No, it's good to see you guys, and we're going to talk about Star Wars. We've got lots of things to talk about, and just kind of hang out and talk about these things. So, you guys, if let's see, we have two. Oh wait, before we do that. I almost forgot. My brain is having trouble today, guys. Sorry.
You're loud,
but
that's fine.
Yeah, I got this in the box the other day, in the mail. This box in the mail, and I already took the label off, so we can shut it. This is from Hasbro, and so I like to open these when we get them on the stream, so that you guys can see the figures. We could do a little opening. That's not a big deal.
A grand opening.
Yeah. So we've just got.
Can we get Meg those big old scissors? Those big giant scissors, and she cut the ribbon.
Right. This is just a repaint, but it's a good one. It's the artillery stormtrooper from Mandalorian. So we knew when we saw them that they were going to release another repaint. That's what Hasbro does. Anytime you put a different color scheme, they're like, bank. Cash the check. So we got the artillery stormtrooper from Mandalorian season 2 when they blew up the beloved Razor Crest. The name of that episode was Tragedy, something like that, right? I want to think.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Is it all the coffee? Is it all of the medications I'm on right now, or is the music really loud?
Oh, sorry. Music's really loud.
Music's really loud. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry.
I was like, I can't really hear you. I don't know what's going on.
Sorry. Normally Baymax is on the chat saying, "Hey, turn down the volume. Oh, it's too loud." Yeah. So
10-11.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, we have 2 episodes of the Bad Batch coming tonight, right?
Give me that juicy double.
Yeah, that's right.
That's from
right.
Sir Mix-a-Lot. I put it in my video today.
I heard that. It was great. And in our chat, I put that guy eating that giant burger. But the clone conspiracy and truth and consequences, right?
Well, we already know what it's going to be about, thanks to Jason spoiling it for us a few weeks ago.
I did?
You did.
What's it about?
Well, I assume it's what you told us about Crosshair.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe it's there. I don't know. I don't know when that happens. You know what I mean, or when the implications begin for that.
I'm just messing with you, Jason.
Okay.
But for the record, Jason is also heavily drugged today.
Yeah.
and so Meg's messing with him, and his brain isn't figuring it out. He's like,
Yeah,
what?
it made me super tired. And then so I drank like 3 cups of coffee now to try to wake up. And it's weird, man. I'm having a Christmas adventure right now. So
I think we need to take this opportunity to ask Jason some really interesting questions.
Yeah. I see if his brain processes like I
see what he
shouldn't
comes back
answer
with.
them. Right.
yeah,
Just see what happens.
I'll bring my shoes.
Yeah. So the clone conspiracy. And do you think, first of all, and I know Meg, you were kind of just messing with Jason a little bit. Do you think that this is going to tie into Crosshair? Do you think we're going to see Crosshair? And secondly, what about our boy, who was AWOL? You think we're going to see either one of them?
Wait, which boy?
Cody.
Oh, I think we've seen the last of Cody. I would say probably Captain Rex is in this one. And he contacts the Bad Batch. And then the second half is all about what Jason actually did tell us about, which may be the start of the Death Trooper program. So, maybe.
Yeah. It does seem like this could be maybe Rex contacting the boys because stuff's starting to go down and it's not looking good for the clones. Rampart's trying to phase out clones entirely. He's using the recent goings on to further his Death Trooper program to get that like greenlit at their expense because he doesn't care about what happens to them. And so maybe that's sort of where all of this goes. So maybe the first episode is sort of the exposition of that, and the second episode's the action about putting that stuff into effect. That's kind of where my brain goes with what we think we know.
So we were asked this morning if we thought it might have to do with Hauser or, and I don't think so. I think we've seen the last of him. I don't think we've seen the last of Cody. I fully expect to see Cody. And if I were to guess what the clone conspiracy, in the trailer, we see the phone call, the Skype call between Rex and the Batch says, "Hey, I got a mission. You guys want to go?" I think that's probably this one, the first one, the clone conspiracy. That's probably it.
And what do you think the mission would be? Is it to save clones that have defected or up for execution or something?
Maybe, and it may have to tie into Cody. Cody's on the run. He's whatever. We need to get him from this place to that place, or something to that effect. But yeah, I think you're on the right kind of track. What about Wolf?
I mentioned Wolf in my video today. I think we'll see him. I've got to tell you, Santa, I disagree. I don't think we're getting Cody at any point in season 2 now. I think they've left that door open and he'll be explored somewhere else.
Why do you say that?
Just the way his story ended, him deserting the Empire. Because we had the same kind of speculation with Hauser, didn't we? We never saw
but
what
Hauser
happened
was
to him.
captured. He was put in jail. Like, that was different.
But he's still alive, so we think.
Yeah, right. But he was captured. Cody's AWOL. That's different, right? One was captured, put in jail. The other's AWOL. He's on the run. So to me, it's like high probability of Cody, 0 probability of Hauser, right?
What do you think, Jason?
Sketchcraft. There's Rob. $2. Thank you
Hey,
so
Rob.
much for that, Rob. Good to see you.
Rob,
Yeah.
what a jerk! What a jerk! You just can't be nice. He's gotta jab it in there a little bit.
I preferred to read it not with the Rob. I knew what he meant, right? I know he was trying to be facetious, right? Like, he's poking the bear. I just preferred to read it as earnest. He's like, he's loving the Bad Batch show, right? Rob, he just can't get enough Bad Batch. He's loving it. this is what he's here for. Yeah,
Rob,
that's how I choose to read it.
I think between the three of us, we could really try to get all of Rob's art commissions to be Bad Batch based. I think if we really, really try hard as a community, we could really do that. You know, Rob could really practice drawing Omega all day.
All day.
For him. It'd be great for his mental health.
I want to ask you guys something about Omega.
Yeah.
I keep hearing people say that she's annoying or whatever. I've got to admit, I'm not a big fan of hers in season 2. But I don't get this. She's annoying. It just reminds me of the Ahsoka talk, during the Clone Wars. It feels like any female animated character is considered annoying until they grow up in the fandom, and I don't understand it.
I think about my friend Darth Lunga, right? He hates kids, right? No, and that's if Lunga's in the chat, he'll spout off on that. But we give him a hard time because anytime you have a child character, he just doesn't care for those story arcs, male or female. It has nothing to do with being male or female. has to do with being a kid. So I agree. I don't think she's annoying at all. I didn't think that Ahsoka was annoying. I get she's a kid and she's kind of preteen, early teen, and that can be. I think we kind of talked about this. I've been reading the Darth Bane trilogy. It's very grown up, right? Lots of dark, Sithy, chopping people up and fighting and mature kind of content as far as brutality, and grown-ups, right? Grown-ups doing grown-up things and not dealing with the immaturity of somebody who's developing through their preteens, teens. And I think there's a lot of Star Wars fans that are only interested in that. And so you've got the Bad Batch, you got a bunch of Clone Force 99ers, you got a bunch of clone troopers, and you got the potential we know is coming with Palpatine and all of that. That's the content they want. You bring in the kid, you do the childish stuff, whatever, they're checking out. And so I think a lot of it is that.
Well, when I to speak to Meg's point, Ezra Bridger, way more annoying than Omega.
Oh yeah,
by far. She's not going, whoa, I'm on a rocket pack. I don't know what's happening, girls. There's none of that stuff going on. And I feel though like it is a carryover from last season, where it would be here's this kind of intriguing story or whatever. Then, here's what I learned. And you're like, what? No, I don't. I know you learned that. Don't tell me you learned that. We know. And they did that a lot in the first season, or it was felt more. This current season, not really. I don't think that I feel like she's I wouldn't say sidelined. She's just one of the group in this one. And the only time I found her annoying at all was when she's like, "Oh, kaleidoscopes! How do these work?" Like what? Are you an idiot? Are you a moron?
According to Jason, Omega is a drunk Brit on a Saturday night.
Yeah, she is.
Pass me that kaleidoscope. What the bugger is this?
Do you need your chimney swept? And stuff like that. Yeah, I do actually. But no, but I mean, but all of that, for the most part, she's just one of the. I think she's been written as one of the team this season, as opposed to being cargo or luggage or whatever, however you want to look at it. They're not dragging her through the adventures. She's right there with them, and it's not taking us down too many side corridors to get us to those plot points with her. So I feel in a way she's a little underbaked even so far in the totality of the season. She's kind of in the background more than in the forefront of these stories that we've had.
Yeah, I don't think they want to rush her character development too much, which is concerning if we don't get many more seasons of the Bad Batch. And you brought up Ezra Bridger. Season 1 of Rebels, Ezra Bridger was intolerable to me. He's the primary reason I quit watching it. I was like,
he monologues. He monologues. He like literally
I-
says what he's thinking instead of showing us.
He
And I told
annoyed
them
me.
that. I got mad at the first like screening of that, dude. I was like,
Yeah.
they're like, what do you think at Comic-Con? And I said, that character saying what he thinks is really annoying. That shows a lot of heart. It's good. The story is good, but I don't think we or the kids are that dumb. And to this day, I still think that. I think
I
she's
strongly disagree with both of you. I think Ezra was great.
yeah.
I never
Look,
found Ezra annoying.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't take him. And not
Yeah.
only that, but like in later seasons when he is, he's contemplating the dark side, and he's really struggling with the whole deal with Saul Guerrera. Hated that.
That's the
it was-
best bit. You
No.
mean the Kyber crystals and the 2-episode arc, like In the Name of Rebellion or whatever? I love that arc. It's one of the best.
See, this is it.
And-
I hated it so much, right? But when you get past that, it's great. You get into season 4 of Rebels. It's absolutely fantastic stuff, and I grew to like his character in the last season a lot. Before that, I was into Rebels for other reasons, but season 4, Ezra, my kind of guy. Before that, not so much. But and I think what we're looking at here with to get back to Omega is she's on an Ahsoka arc, right? Like, and the people keep paralleling them. Like Dave Filoni's doing the same thing with Omega that he did with Ahsoka. Well, pause button on that. Dave isn't writing the Bad Batch, from what I understand, and he's not all that involved in the story development there. Certainly is because of his job, but he's not in the active development of that story, so he's overseeing it. But I think they are using a bit of a template and paralleling her. So look for her character to grow more slowly, so that it isn't like overnight OP, right?
I think they're different, though. I think Omega and Ahsoka are on very different trajectories. One of them's Force sensitive, the other one is Boba's sister. I don't see any similarities between them whatsoever. I would even say Hunter has more similarities with Ahsoka than Omega does.
Interesting. I'll get back to Mike
in terms
Porter.
of the narrative too. Ahsoka had a point in time when she was saying Sky Guy and R2E, and it was a bit cringy, and it was like it was even distracting, I would say. And we've never had that with her. So even if we just step outside of the like similarities that are there or not in terms of like character stuff, which I don't really see it either, other than the fact that you have a young person who's with older characters who are supposed to be mentors, and some are good and some are bad. That's about where the similarities really start and stop. But she doesn't have the same narrative similarity or style similarities at all whatsoever. And Ahsoka did change. That's the thing though. They did notice, yeah, you know what, we're stepping on our own toes. This R2E stuff isn't working. They stopped doing it. That's always been the good thing about Filoni. When something doesn't work, he will remove it if you can, you know. But the show doesn't do that, so I don't think it's. I don't really see it as other than being the main protagonist. I would say Ahsoka is the main protagonist of the Clone Wars if there was one.
Yeah, I just tend to think that we have a lot of adult fans watching animated content, wanting to see it from a more mature content perspective. And when it goes to younger audiences and includes themes from like preteens and just the stupidity that can be of a kid, or going through that finding themselves self-discovery phase that a teen go through, they don't like it. And I don't want to discount also that there is some pushback. Oh, we've got a female character. I don't want to watch that. I want to watch, masculinity on display, go, kill people.
Yeah, it's a couple
that
guys
thing.
working out, getting buff, getting ripped.
Mike Porter,
feeling each other's bodies, saying, "Hey, you look good, bro."
18 months of membership. Mike Porter, fantastic. We got the Mike Porter dad joke today. A good Star Wars Mike Porter dad joke as well. Bad Batch is great. It's really been fun. Also about the only nerdy content right now. Certainly, this is a great. People keep talking about episodes of the Bad Batch being filler. We could debate, the filler quality of each episode, but it is, from a Star Wars content perspective, filling the gap. We have less than a month now, just a couple of weeks until The Mandalorian season 3 kicks off, and this is really the only real good Star Wars content we have, and I say that on purpose because it is, I think, really good Star Wars content. I'm loving it. So thank you for that, Mike Porter. And then I saw another comment I wanted to go back here and grab. Aggressively relaxing. Asks, you think Omega's gonna die?
No.
All of this having Boba clone and Jedi outfit and Yoda and a Mando outfit fighting alongside Rey. Two different things kind of merged together here. First of all, Omega gonna die before Mandoverse era. What say ye?
Absolutely not. They wouldn't have wasted time and money on animation if it wasn't to put her in something else.
Jason?
I don't know if they'll put her in something else. I would love for things to be that connected and for there to be like grand plans and stuff like that. I wouldn't be surprised if the show just never ends and we never see her again. I mean, I hope that's not the case, but I wouldn't be surprised. But I don't think they'd kill her. I don't think that they would kill a kid in a show that is maybe seen to be aimed at kids. And but I think it's a fair question. Who is this really aimed at? Because that's my problem with the show, though. My actual problem is the kids. It's not kids aren't into it. It's adults watching it. It should be the show should be treated like how anime is, not like an adult anime with like or anything like that. I'm just saying it should be like anime. Like here's a serious cartoon, and some kids just see animation. They're just like, this is for me. They don't know what's going on. They can't follow it, but put the sophistication up a little bit. The kids are just going to watch it anyways, and then adults enjoy it more. But I really don't know if we're going to see Omega after this. I hope so, but I don't know if we will.
So Jason, every time I talk to you about the Bad Batch, I lose interest in the show more and more. I'm only in this show so that Omega does something in her future, because at the moment I'm just like, I can't wait for this season to just end.
Yeah,
I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I'm not having a good time with it. I liked the last episode and episode 3, but I think my investment is more to do with Boba Fett and what happens later in the timeline.
No,
that's what offends me about the show. Is that's what got me intrigued. I was like, well, that is Boba Fett's sister. What does this mean? And the truth is it doesn't really mean anything because they don't have any intention of picking it up.
Well,
why
disagree with both of you to a degree? Yeah. Because I could care less that she's Boba's sister because I don't care that much about Boba Fett. Who cares? But it's an interesting side point about her that she does have this connection to Boba Fett. Cool, whatever. But I do fully expect that we will see her in live action at a later date. 100%.
I can answer your rhetorical question. Because her being Boba Fett's sister is a huge story opportunity. One that, if picked up, would be intriguing, would make fans really pay attention, and would it would though. It would. I mean, whether you like it or not, it would be, that would be a huge moment. There could be, but what offends me about it is that it was introduced to just hang there. Like if there was really a plan, if there was really something going on, there would be more to it. And that's why I question if they even knew what they were doing when they did it.
Oh, I disagree with that.
When they made the observation, did they know what they were up? Because they opened up this they cracked open this door and then just walked away from it. And I'm just like, that's not really great storytelling, is it? I'm not saying we need to have them meeting this episode, but there's
I think
stuff-
it'll happen later.
stuff
I think
there.
it'll happen if there's
Yeah.
ever a Boba Fett season 2 in the Mandoverse, some future series, something else. And what really, really sells that for me is Fennec Shand. But Meg, you were going to say something.
See, I disagree with that. I think Fennec Shand is not as important as we think she is.
Yeah.
I literally just think she's as important as whatever she does for Boba Fett. I don't think she's got her own story. We have no clue where she came from, what her homeworld is, her backstory. And I'm kind of thinking they don't care to tell that story because she looks cool. She does cool stunts in Bad Batch and in Mando and Book of Boba. But when it comes to Omega, I disagree with Jason. I think there's a reason they did set up this show, even if it's like Ahsoka, like long-term planning. Because when Ahsoka showed up in the Clone Wars movie and then the Clone Wars season 1, people were like, oh, well, then she's going to die because blah, 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 blah. Well, I think that's going to be the same with Omega, where there might not be a concrete plan now, but it only makes sense to tie it in. And Jason, if that rumor was true, that the Marauder's going to show up in Mando season 3, then I think you'll be eating. I nearly said Omega's pie. That's not what I meant.
The Marauders, yeah.
Humble pie.
Yeah, I see that as we needed to make a starship, and we knew that you guys would get excited if we put that in the background.
So no big reason behind it.
I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't one. I mean, just like when you watch, the shipyard in Andor, was that the ghost? Everybody's like, oh, that means Hera's showing up next episode. Yeah, she did. She didn't show up. It didn't mean anything, and it's that kind of stuff. I don't know, man. I want to be like optimistic and pretend like they kind of know what they're doing on some of the stuff. I think that if they don't, and they're like, you know what though, it's an opportunity for later. But I'm just not a big fan of throwing out opportunities for later that they're not going to really like execute on, like in this lifetime.
You guys,
I'm not going to live forever.
Calm
Jason, your
yourselves
words
down.
to me are like a hangover. You're hitting me with hangovers every time you speak. Because
I'm sorry.
A part of me is like, screw you, but then a part of me is like, you're probably absolutely right, and I can't stand that.
Let's just wait. We don't have to have
I love you though,
everything
Jason.
answered.
No,
overnight.
it's cool. I mean, just go look at Star Wars Resistance and look at how many theories there were and how many of those panned out into anything of significance. Not a lot.
Well, I think it depends on fan interest as well, and there's zero chance that they're not going to develop Fennec's story going forward. Ming-Na Wen is too much of a treasure. There's too much fan interest in her to not do something with her character. But we digress.
I disagree.
Because
I really disagree.
We've got to get back to the Bad Batch and the 2 episodes that are coming out tonight. And I agree wholeheartedly with Sheev here. Bad Batch is literally a mega story at the beginning of it. 100%. That's
I want to disagree. I think Omega's story is the clone story. Like what is the season? What is the season doing though? Like let's just be real about it. What's it doing? Is it a Judy Blume story about how Omega becomes a woman? No. Is it about? It's nothing like that. What it's all been is what happened to the clones. How do we get stormtroopers? That's truly all that this is, and it's just seen through the eyes of Omega. I mean, that's what. If we're going to be real about it, that's what the story is.
You're breaking my heart, Jason.
But it's what it is, though, right? I mean, it is true. Like, if we were to whiteboard this right now, all of season 1 and what we know of season 2 and what we know what's happening with Death Troopers, that's all this really is what happened to the clones and how do we get stormtroopers. Let's just explore that and make that into a 2-season series. I think that's the show.
Clone Conspiracy. You guys are killing me.
Sorry, but it's true.
The Clone Conspiracy tonight. Where do you think we're going with this episode? Well, we do this predictions game, and for my friend Nerd Mafia in the chat, there are 2 predictions games polls. You have to fill out both. If you only fill out one, you're going to miss one, my friend. You make sure you fill out both. It's 7 and 8, not 6 again, like you did the last time. No, 7 and 8. But so we have the Clone Conspiracy followed by Truth and Consequences. Is this, as Meg has kind of guessed, is this a Crosshair story, or is it Bad Batch story? Is it Omega story? What's going on? If you were to guess,
I'm guessing the Rex stuff, the beginning of investigating what the Empire's doing and Rampart's doing. And Stephen in the chat posted that we do see some young clones underground in the trailer. So they could have been clone cadets who were moved from Camino and escaped or something like that. So I think it's the start of that story.
Yeah, because those little boys, they're screwed. They're like Imperial property that they don't want anymore, that they don't want to pay for, they don't want to feed, they don't want to house, and they're probably going to see, like, they probably would just terminate them if they could. But I don't know how far the cartoon would go with being explicit about that, but they're going to have to run, right? That's sort of.
Well, in the EU comics, there is a storyline for those kids, right?
Okay.
They're taken into the program to be death troopers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that the death trooper program takes that shot, and if we're going to see Crosshair become like the proto for that group to start that group, then it very well could be the future for these kids underneath Crosshair's leadership. But so these are going to be kids where we got to save them now, or they're going to get taken into this program.
I have to be a big nerd. When you say EU, you don't mean the old expanded universe. You mean just like the novels and comics and stuff? Is that what you mean? I'm only asking because like the Death Troopers of old were just stormtroopers painted black and with a little bit different backstory, right? And then these new ones that talk like those guys, those are the ones that they're going to become. So, and those weren't invented until Rogue One. So that means it's in the current canon, that the stuff that you're saying then.
No,
so
it came from stuff that's now Legends.
Oh, okay, right? It is from Legends stuff.
Comics.
Okay.
Yeah, and they took these kids that were not fully developed and they threw them into that program. And some of them, right? Others, they...
guys, there's a bit of information that came out. This is the episode with Rex.
It is?
Ooh,
yeah, and Star Wars Holocron, they've seen it. They say these are the 2 best episodes of season 2 and some of the very best in Star Wars animation, revealing, interconnected, and full of poignant social commentary. And then they show the picture of Rex from the trailer.
Excellent. So, that's
about clones.
So, when we talk about the predictions and we're predicting what's going to happen tonight, in episode 7, there's one question in there. It says Sid sends the Bad Batch on a mission, and we see Ord Mantell. Right, those are 2 questions. If we could be on Ord Mantell, but I think they're going to get the call from Rex. Can you come do a mission for me? Not from Sid. Go do this mission. So that's just my own 2 cents on that, and that is what I put in my predictions already for this episode. Do you think that Crosshair is going to be part of it in either episode, 7 or 8?
No. He appears in episode 12 and not before.
Oh, not 11? Metamorphosis?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't think they have a lot of room for Crosshair's growth or interaction with him, because you really have atonement or you got more of the same. He dies, atonement, or more of the same. I don't think that they would want to do more of the same if they didn't have to. I mean, on these serialized cartoons, sometimes they will, but and then with what I've heard about the Death Trooper stuff, that it's moving in that direction. I'm guessing that's maybe a metamorphosis, or maybe I don't even know if it happens this season. I just know that that's where it's moving to. So,
see, that's my guess, is that we're going to see the metamorphosis very well could be Crosshair to the Death Trooper program, right?
Yeah.
From clone to Death Trooper metamorphosis, right? From the gray armor to the black armor, right? Like. And this is something worth pointing out. And again, I got it. This isn't something I got for myself. I got it by watching what's his name from the Heavy Spoilers, Paul from Heavy Spoilers.
Uh-huh.
You notice the Bad Batch, they're adding more and more color to them as the series moves on. The other, they're removing color from them as the series goes on. Like even Commander Cody, when we saw him, like the color that we saw in the prequels on Cody were gone. So they're removing color, and to see, it's this visual cue of the direction of the characters, right? And to see Crosshair go from Bad Batch to all gray to black would be his character arc, where Bad Batch, the other members, are going from a little color to more color all the way through. So I think that's what we're seeing happen. And then in my predictions for this episode, I put we will see Cody during this episode. That's what I put as my fill in the blank. We will see Cody in this episode. Agree or disagree?
Disagree.
What do you think, Jason?
Yeah, I would say I don't see why we would see Cody unless it's Rex saving Cody.
Yep.
I mean, if that's what the story is, then I could see seeing Cody in that context. But I would not be surprised if it's more about Cody's actions than Cody himself. Like that wouldn't surprise me either if that's what we end up getting, like about where we just see like he's one of the guys that's being that Rex is actually talking about, and but we don't really know what the mission is or what the point is. So it's easy to get wrapped up and say, "Yep, that's what it has to be. That's what it is." Because for all we know, it's just some like random side mission that ends up building into the intrigue, and something is revealed during the side mission again. That could happen too.
Yeah. The predictions link, Matt Risman put them in the chat. They're also in the description of this video, and they're on my Discord. I'll post them out to the YouTube community and the Patreon, Twitter, and Facebook later. So if you're looking for them right now, you can find them in the description of this video right now. And Matt Risman put them in the link, or in the chat. Let's see. What was the other? The last episode was a cliffhanger. I don't know.
So.
I don't. Why do you think so?
Because they're on Kashyyyk, and they didn't leave. Usually, after a mission, they go back, but they stayed. Maybe cliffhanger is the wrong word, but
that last episode was really poorly edited and very strange in its execution and its jumps, how things moved in it. So I'm not sure what to glean from that ending. Like, I feel like that episode, somebody said this, sorry, I forgot who it was, and I agree with it. It feels like it was 2 episodes consolidated into one. Like they decided not to tell more like action sequences and stuff like that. It feels like it was 2. And like you get stuff like there's a fire, and then all of a sudden the fire doesn't matter anymore. We're just on. We're back
Jason
home now.
woke up and chose violence.
I did, but it's true though.
I saw where you
happened.
did that yesterday, Meg. You woke up and chose violence. Somebody put that on Twitter. Megan woke up and chose violence.
Oh yeah,
because you said Rebels was greater than all other Star Wars animation, something like that.
It's the only one I can sit through.
But so I think Cody. Meg says no. Jason, you say maybe. Only if it's.
I'm really undecided, to be honest with you. Like it's too, like she was like, of course Rex is going to try to save Cody. What if Rex doesn't even know? We have no indication. I'm not saying that's not what's going to happen. I don't know, but there's no indication that why Occam's razor. Why would Rex know anything that's going on with Cody right now? How would Cody know how to contact Rex? Like we have to actually give like big circumstantial plot jumps in order to make that plot work, which they will probably do. But we don't have any evidence to go by and say,
well,
that
Jason, Rex is out there looking for clones. I mean, it's an animation. It's Star Wars. They can find ways of explaining it. It's not that far-fetched, I don't think.
Easy.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But based off of the evidence that we have, I'm not talking about what we think, what our stomachs tell us, or anything like that. I'm saying, like, what do we have on the table? And on the table, absolutely nothing, because the show kind of makes it up as it goes along sometimes.
Yeah, I
think the episodes are written by in different like clumps of plot. So something that happens in the previous episode is there's no promise it's going to be a payoff in the next one. They should do a final draft and interweave that stuff a little bit more, but I've seen it. Like, you could see, you kind of skip an episode, then it picks up on some of the subtleties of the previous 2 episodes.
So do we
You know
pick
what
up
we've
from
all failed to
Kashyyyk?
consider? We
No.
failed to consider that Reva might show up because the Empire's been alerted about a Jedi. Why wouldn't they send Inquisitors?
Oh, I could buzzkill this right now, because if Reva showed up, everybody who got the first 14 episodes would have been like, Moses Ingram is in it, or she's not. What are you doing, Lucasfilm?
No, I know that's always Jason. He, spoiling our fun with facts.
I'm a bummer.
I know. So the clone conspiracy. What is the conspiracy?
Nobody knows, man.
Well,
Nobody
if there's a
knows.
political commentary to it, do you think we could see Coruscant?
I think so. I would even say, based off of season 1, in season, we're not seeing it this season, but in season 1, we saw the reuse of tons of Clone Wars sets that were made and underused, the Cutler Queen's farm, stuff like that. And when you look back at the Clone Wars, there's a lot of Coruscant. There's a lot of Coruscant assets just sitting there that could just be touched up a little bit and put into the show at any point. So I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen Coruscant yet, considering that.
We did see it with Ramparts and Cody and Crosshair, but not the good side, not the Bail Organa, the podium, the Senate.
Right. I think that's coming later, right? And,
I think so.
The clone conspiracy to me is what we're kind of talking about. Rex finding clones that are going AWOL, the one out. The conspiracy is that they've got this secret network where they can get out, and it's like the Underground Railroad back in U.S. history, right? So there's certain places they can go along the way, and Rex is plugged into that Underground Railroad. That's the clone conspiracy.
I think I'm with Juan though. I think Juan has it correct. I think Rampart is going to project a conspiracy that isn't there.
Oh,
And then that's going to frame the clones as being bad meat. Send the meat to the mill. Let's make more stormtroopers. Let's get this program going. Let's get them out of this proto phase and get it like into like real full blown.
the Order 66 of clone troopers.
Yeah. That's what I would bet on this being, because remember, the thing I've heard is that Rampart's main goal is Death Troopers. That's what he wants to get to. That's his pet project. That's his baby. That's what all of this is about for him.
So
and when you take all the stuff with Tarkin and stuff, they don't like the clones. They're
the Order 66 of the clones is where you're headed with it. It's a
That's
fake
what I think.
conspiracy.
I'm going to make a prediction.
Okay, go ahead.
Mon Mothma is going to appear in 3 shows of 2023.
I'm with you. 100%.
Bad Batch,
100%.
Mando, Ahsoka.
Yeah.
I'm totally on board with you, Meg. And if not Mando, Skeleton Crew. But that might bleed into 24, right? That's the speculation.
True.
So the second episode tonight is called Truth and Consequences. So if Jason's right, clone conspiracy is an Order 66 for clones, right? It's a fake conspiracy that Rampart comes up with. Truth would be revealing the truth of that. Like, no, that's not true, right? So Truth and Consequences is we see, no, there isn't this conspiracy that Rampart is selling, and the consequences of this putting the clones out, placing with stormtroopers, all of that. It makes sense, right? The titles fit together, right?
Yeah. I think so.
Clone conspiracy is a lie. Truth is to expose that lie.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I like it. It makes sense. It fits together, and we see Rex involved. For truth and consequences, what do you think the odds are that we see Crosshair?
Very small.
Yeah, I don't know if he would fit into. I don't see how he fits into that story at the moment unless they start teasing where it's going, and then they like have that moment where Rampart's like, I want you to be the prototype. You know, will you do this thing or whatever for us? And I could see that kind of like that scene happening, but I could see that scene happening in almost any episode because it feels like it's always going to be such a little like side moment that you could put it anywhere. It wouldn't make sense to put it there though. It would make sense that we see like a direction about where this is going and why, because we're gonna see, because if this does happen, we need to they do need to answer why is it happening. Like Order 66, when it happens, you know the why.
Yeah,
you know why Palpatine's doing it. It's very clear, and there's even political reasons, and there's political, and there's just like obviously the Sith want to get revenge. That's what they've always been about. But in this instance, why would if the Empire is going to kill its own troops to change the program, they have to answer that, and I would imagine that would be a way of getting at that answer. Is we want you to become a Death Trooper. We want to get rid of all of these guys, but we want you guys to become the elites of the elites. And you can see Stupid buying into it even further with that kind of logic. Like, we think you're the best of the best, and we want to get rid of all of the inferiors. And him going like, "Yep, that's me, that's me,"
and that's why I chose this path, right?
Yeah, I didn't make a mistake. This is a good choice I've made.
Yeah, I'm with you, and that's why I'm guessing Crosshair will be in Truth and Consequences. So my fill in the blanks again for the predictions game. We're having fun. It's a game in Clone Conspiracy. I said we're going to see Cody. In the Truth and Consequences, I say we're going to see Crosshair. My guesses. Maybe I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. Yeah, go ahead.
I think I have a relatively reasonable guess of what the Clone Conspiracy is. If Star Wars is poetic and it kind of draws from the past and other media, what if Rampart uses Cody's desertion as a reason to blame the clones for not being loyal? And that could be the reason that causes him to initiate a new program, which is devastating for the other clones.
I would agree with that. I would also agree that the Bad Batch themselves, a group of clones that go rogue, even though they're not your standard clone, could also be used to paint that picture that clones are too volatile. They can't. What those cloners were doing can't really be trusted. Who knows? You know. And if we get normal people, they got something to lose. If they don't follow, if you're like a normal stormtrooper and you do the wrong thing, they're going to put your whole family in prison probably, or kill your family. So you're going to stay in line. They don't have that. They don't have families. They don't have anybody but each other. And that's the problem that the Empire has with clones to some extent, right? Their loyalty, if it's not to the Empire, it's to each other. And what does the Empire do? It extracts everything from people, uses people as human capital. And so, of course, it's going to lead to friction. So, yeah, there is a good logic in why they moved the Stormtroopers in the story that they've set up.
Sheev is nailing it today. It's absolutely great. Says, I think the Clone Conspiracy was Order 66. So many of the clones think they were acting on their own power, but Truth and Consequences, they learned the truth of Order 66. And then the consequences of that. Right, of that truth. Sheev, I love it.
Or it could be one of those titles that it's both. If it's a really good two-parter, I think it will be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like The Mandalorian. Does it mean that guy or all those guys? It means all those guys. Whatever you want. Return of the Jedi, you know?
Steven says we haven't heard from Kaminoans in a while. I think that's going to be the finale. Like the end of the season, the last 2 episodes, we're going to get back to Mount Tantus. We're going to see about what's going on with the cloning facility and all that. That's just my guess.
See, and that makes me mad. They like look at this big reveal. Oh my God, you guys! It's Mount Tantus. Next season's gonna be crazy. oh man, I can't wait for season 2 finale to see it come back again. That's lame.
I'm with Jason. I'm
so
absolutely with
lame
Jason
to
on
do
that. That is
I hope-
such an annoying way of doing it.
You guys want
Yeah.
your McDonald's drive-through? You're killing me. Calm
No,
down. Wait for
it's-
the steak to cook. Right? Let it rest a little bit. It'll be okay.
It's
It'll
made
be all
up.
right.
They could just continue to make up cool stuff. They're like, you know
Well,
what?
Santa, just like our steak, our balls are blue thanks to Disney.
Like to use your steak
Oh, you made me
analogy,
choke.
I like 3 meals a day. I like 3 meals a day, not 1 a month, which is what the season's going to give us if they do that.
Oh my goodness, you're killing me. So the 2 episodes tonight. Look, I'm excited. And Meg, you said you can find. Is that in Twitter? You can find.
It is.
you-
Type in Star Wars Holocron. They posted their review of it.
All right, let's pull that up just so folks can see it. And the Star Wars Holocron.
Holochronic. Sorry.
And let's
What?
following them is let's share this. Let's see, where was it? Qi'ra story. We'll talk about that in a minute. Here we
This
go.
episode had stormtroopers. It was good.
2 episodes
I
of
like-
the Bad Batch. Clone Conspiracy, Truth of Consequences. The 2 best episodes. These are the 2 best, not some of the best, but the best episodes of the season, and some of the very best in Star Wars animation, revealing interconnected, full of poignant social commentary. And there's the picture, as Meg referenced. We see, oh, this is interesting. This does not look like they are on Ord Mantell. As they're
I have a legitimate question. Why are we always talking about Ord Mantell? Like, where did that come from? Why is that always
that's where
being brought up?
because it's
'Cause
their
that's where
home
they live.
planet. Yeah.
Okay, because it's like every single time everybody's like talking about it. I'm like, what's
Have
the
you watched
point?
The Bad Batch, Jason?
I was
No.
gonna say it's
No.
pretty obvious.
No, just me because of Sid's bar. Okay, I was like, is something supposed to happen there that I missed? You know what I mean?
No, it's like
Was it like
that's their home.
okay, got it.
That's,
I thought there was like something like big. You know what I mean? That like I didn't understand from a trailer or something. Because okay,
no,
sorry.
No, just give you a hard time.
Jason, do you want us to go through the names of each member?
Yes, please.
So this would be Wrecker back here. He's got one eye.
What happened to his eye? No.
I know. We don't have the backstory to what happened to Wrecker's eye. I'm pissed off. No, I'm just
Yeah.
No, this is so this is not Ord Mantell is my point. Like they're on some command ship of some sort. This doesn't look like it's the Havoc Marauder either. They're somewhere.
Yeah.
Command center, some sort of
I don't
it
mean
looks-
to be a cynic, but how do you know? Like the background's just grey.
Well, this control panel back here doesn't look like the Havoc Marauders. Plus, we're not looking out into space like through windows here. So this looks like it's a room.
Yeah, it's
It's
not
a
like
room.
an ad or something, right? I can't really.
No,
see that
you'll be able to see out, right?
Yeah, yeah.
If these are windows each side of this center console here. And this console isn't from the Havoc Marauder. We haven't seen anything that looks anything like that. So
Right.
in Ord Mantell, unless we haven't seen this like in Sid's office or anything, this would have to be someplace else, some secret command center on Ord Mantell. So I'm just deductively saying this doesn't look like Ord Mantell or the Havoc Marauder or someplace else. It also doesn't look like Kashyyyk, right? To go back to, was this last episode a cliffhanger? I think I think that last episode ended where it ended. It's done. And then we're moving on from here. So wherever this is, I don't think this is where we open, but this happens early on. That'd be my guess. That's
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh-uh.
I'm looking at the background right now, and I'm like, that background is just completely black. It's like completely dark. I'm like wondering if it's gonna be, when we see the episode, if it's gonna look the same, or if that was like for the trailer that we don't see.
Oh, I see.
Something
that they-
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
I
I
know
guess
exactly what you mean.
it does have
They
to
want
be
to
dark. It
hide
is
something.
Or
Yeah.
yeah,
what
I
they
mean,
should do,
Mhm.
you know, in the scenes that we go to see the Senate and we see Palpatine and Masamida, they should sneak into Palpatine's apartment and just find half of Kit Fisto's body still there. And then through Dave Filoni or Jen Corbett, just have one of the Bad Batch go, see, he's dead. Now stop the theories.
I love it. Okay, any more on the Bad Batch before we change topics?
No.
There's a couple other things.
Jason
so make sure you
can't
get,
wait to change topics. Jason,
I don't. No, I don't hate it. I just don't want to put too much on the show's shoulders because I don't think it's doing that much.
Yachty, it's her birthday. Happy birthday, Yachty. Oh, happy birthday. My good friend Yachty. Fantastic. Thank you. And Ethan. Ethan, we're going to include him on Thursday's show. We're planning it out right now.
Nice.
So good to see you. I've got another story, and Meg covered this today. E.K. Johnston is going to be doing a book on what's the name of this? Rise of
Crimson Rise.
Yeah, Crimson Rise. Crimson Rise. It's right there. Crimson Climb. So the speculation is that this is going to be Qi'ra between when we see her separated from Han Solo at the beginning of the movie to where we see her at the end of the movie. Meg, did I summarize your thoughts correctly?
Yes. That is when the book takes place.
That's my guess as well. We're going to get that gap filled that's in Solo.
Qi'ra's going to get her gap filled by Darth Maul.
Something like that. Her story.
Also, I say Darth Maul and people are always like, it's actually just Maul. I'm like, no, screw you, it's Darth Maul.
It's just
true,
Maul,
it's just Maul.
actually.
I know, if it was Darth Maul in The Phantom Menace, that's what he will always be.
Just like Ahsoka is I am no Jedi. Maul is no Sith.
Well, if
you're not a Sith, you can't be Darth.
But in Phantom Menace, when they call him Darth Maul, he's not even Darth Maul yet. So you could say that to them too. Was it Darth then? Remember? Because Plagueis there's a rule too, man. Plagueis is alive in the beginning of that when they're calling him Darth Maul. That doesn't make any sense, does it?
Actually,
Plagueis is dead.
It's Hugo Damask.
Yeah, Hugo Damask is dead by then.
Doesn't he die the night that Palpatine becomes Chancellor?
No.
Am I totally misremembering that?
No, you're right.
Yeah.
So therefore,
Wait.
Darth Maul is not a Darth.
Why are we saying no?
I don't know. In the prelude to Plagueis, he dies like before the chapter 1, and Palpatine isn't Chancellor at that point. At least we don't have
You're
any
right.
indication.
He's a senator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he dies when he becomes a senator, not when he becomes Chancellor.
Well, while
Doesn't
he's
he
a
die
senator.
before he betrays Phineas? What's his last name? The Chancellor in Phantom Menace.
Because
the
way I remember it is he becomes Chancellor, and then that night when he becomes Chancellor is when he gets him drunk and kills him.
No,
I'm totally misremembering that. It's been a long time.
I feel like I've heard what Jason's saying before, but
That's
it's
how I
the
remember
night
it.
it's the night he betrays. The name skips me. The grey-haired guy.
right. Valorum.
Chancellor Valorum.
So yeah. So Darth Maul isn't a Darth when he's Darth Maul, according to the Plagueis novel, which is a good critique to have against that book.
Wait, but Maul's not born yet. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm confusing the timeline.
Yeah, when Chancellor Valorum is ousted, vote of no confidence by Padme.
Okay, so
Plagueis is still
why
around.
don't we call him Acolyte Maul?
Yeah, but he's not. But what I'm saying is he's not Darth Maul. That was a bit of a promotion there, and so.
But they broke the rule of 2 with Plagueis. He ended the rule of 2, so he could have 2.
In the opening, when the Nemodians are now there's 2 of them, that right there, he's this is my apprentice Darth Maul. He's not a Darth yet. So he's getting a little ahead of himself. So you guys need to go and if you're EU fans, you need to go correct Palpatine because he's the one who's wrong too.
Yeah.
Is this kind of like when like in those like 90s films when a dad and his son go to like a really important work meeting, and the dad says to the guy, "This is my son, he's going to run the company one day." And that's the first time the son's been told that, and he looks up at his dad, he's like, "Oh really? Is it that kind of thing where Darth Maul even didn't know that he was Darth Maul?"
Oh, really?
Exactly.
Hilarious. I'm opening the Kindle app. There's look, I was talking about Lunga before. Lunga made it into the chat, and he said he just read the book last month. I just read the book too, and I've been going through it on our Patreon, and right in the prologue we get share this, and hopefully we won't get in trouble, but I'll try this. Let's see if I can share this. And so right here in the prologue,
Copyright strike.
yeah, I know. Here it comes. We're looking for, here's Sidious, the droid shuffled, blah blah blah. Ripple Sidious, he finds the moon, and decades earlier, Sidious took care. I guess he's already killing him here. I don't see where he's mentioning that it took place in that time frame. Right? I just don't see that unless
I thought so. So this is my memory. I haven't read the book since it came out, and in my memory, they're celebrating that he just become chancellor. He gets drunk, and then he kills him the night that he becomes chancellor. It all happens in the same night. That's how I remember it happened.
They added it at the end. Okay, well when we get back through it, okay, it's at the end. That context of that. So maybe you're right on that. But in any event, they had already canceled the rule of two. Plagueis had put an end to rule of two. It says that in chapter 1. So rule of two doesn't exist. You can have as many.
But it's not canon anymore, so.
I know.
Yeah.
Right. So in any event, we get the Crimson Reign, or the Crimson Climb is coming. I've been reading a lot of the novels. Is this a novel you're excited to read or no?
Depends if I have something else to do.
I'll probably read it. The question you asked right before the show is, do you think that this means there's less of a chance that we get Qi'ra in live action, or more of a chance that we get Qi'ra in live action?
Less. As Jason will tell you, she's relegated to the books and comics.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the bummer guy again and say, if she had anything in a script, and it's some TV show pilot, the Lando series or something like that, this book would not be coming out. It would not exist. It would never have been okayed. And the fact that she's in 15 comic books last year, and this novel says there's absolutely zero plans to do anything with her whatsoever. That's my belief on that, because I think if we weren't getting this stuff, there would be an argument that it's possible. This to me says no. And who would want to deal with the character as a creator now that your hands are tied by all of this stuff? It's just going to be a hurdle after hurdle, trying to, we can't do this with her because this and that. I don't think it's worth it for like Favreau, for instance, to pick it up. I think this closes, and it also says that Favreau probably had no interest in picking it up.
Well, and we know that, and I'm playing there's some gameplay footage from Jedi Survivor that you can catch. IGN has it on their YouTube page, and you can see some actual gameplay footage from the game. And look, this is coming out pretty soon. Looks pretty good to me. I don't play the games, but just to share the footage with everyone, kind of see what's going on. Meg, is this a game you're going to put on your pre-order?
Maybe.
Have you already pre-ordered it?
No.
No.
I still
I did.
thinking about it.
You did?
Yeah, my son loves the first game like a lot. So we bought the big edition with all the dumb outfits and everything. And one thing I'll say though about that first game is if you go on YouTube and you look at like the supercut movie of the first game where it's like just the story stuff, like cut into a film done in really high res, it's like watching a good episode or a good movie on Disney Plus. Like it really is so well done. So I think if you're not a gamer and you won't buy the game, you should go watch that, and you should watch whatever they make of from this game. You'll be, it's good. It's cinematic.
Yeah.
Usually. Anyway.
Yeah, and I saw Great Council here still commenting Disney's not giving any canon history for it. We've been going through the chapters on Patreon for the Plagueis novel, and we're about 20% through the book. I would try to get some more posted. I try to put up multiple episodes at a time so we can get through it within a reasonable time frame. But we're working our way through, and a lot of concepts from the Plagueis novel have made it into canon. They're just not contextualized within the book. Also, there's a lot of the book that will never make its way to canon because it's simply already been retconned. It can't happen. So I would say that as well.
I have a question for you two. Genuinely.
Yeah.
Is Disney actually putting out Star Wars content you care about?
Yes. What do you think, Jason?
In live action, yeah. But in terms of the comics and the books and stuff like that and the cartoons right now, mostly no.
I agree with Jason. I'd go a bit stricter than that though. I'm having a tough time with Star Wars lately. I've kind of just, my mind's just like, because I rewatched the original trilogy or the prequels and I'm like, there's so much they could have done. There's so much more they could have done, like with stuff we care about. When it comes to a point like where we're celebrating third tier characters, I was like, oh, that's cool. There's something in the background of this episode. It just comes to a point where you're like, but do we actually have anything that's worth caring about as a Star Wars fan? I don't think we do. The Mandalorian is great, but that's about it for me.
Not even Andor?
I love that. I love Andor. I mean, going forward, I love Andor. Andor was the best Star Wars thing since The Last Jedi.
Yeah. I think stuff like Andor goes a lot further than most of the things that they do, and I would rather like the books and stuff like that be closer to Andor. I think that is the place to tell those kinds of stories. And whenever I do read the books, I feel like the books move more towards the Bad Batch stuff. I think it's the talent that they have involved in writing the books and that they keep reusing. I get it. You get comfortable with an author. They didn't do anything crazy. They weren't sending you memes constantly or something stupid and unprofessional. And you're like, oh, let's work with them again. At the same time, there's so many fascinating authors out there who I'd love to see tackle Star Wars. Tony Gilroy types who write books. It's all, and instead, I don't mean, I'm just going to use E.K. Johnson just because that's who was brought up. But it's like, we have already had the book from that person. Bring in new authors, bring in new people. Let's see what they do with this place instead of being like, hey, you love the Ahsoka novel. No, you didn't. Nobody loved it. It wasn't that good. It's not really, everybody loves Ahsoka. They don't love the book. And so we just keep going, circling back to the same, it's like the same drain in print. So we're just circling around it for me. That's why I'm not reading this stuff anymore. I'm just not. I don't care.
Unlike Lunga and Jason, I love Omega. I love her character story, and I'm looking for the Bad Batch to me is watching her story develop. And I agree with Sheev where it is the story of Omega, and I'm enjoying it. So is Disney giving me content that I'm looking forward to? Yes, the Bad Batch. I'm absolutely loving it. And yes, I did.
Wait, Basanta, please tell me 5 things Omega's done.
5 things.
And it can't just be basic things that any side character will do.
Well, she's revealing some of the Batch's origin, and she's made that connection to them. She's shown us that the Clone Force 99 isn't just some one-off. Also, as far as like on Camino, the lab where they were created.
I mean, season
what
2.
What are you looking for? Season 2? What has she done? What do you mean? What has she done?
Okay, except for discovering that a cave is interesting and helping Gungi take out Trandoshans.
Well, no, okay. I'm going to try to make the question more fair. How is any of this her story and not that of the clone story? That's my thing with it. That's where that's the conclusion I'm coming to. Is it's not really Omega's story, it's the clone story. She's a clone. Like that's where I'm at with it. Like that's how when I just synthesize the information that we do have.
You know, we've had the story in other places. In this case, it's a little bit different. The wolf and cub kind of thing that they talk about, not only with the Mandalorian, but in other instances. Here we've essentially got that. The Batch are her mentors, her fathers, even though she's older than them and they're technically her brothers, and she even says so. You're to Crosshair, you're my brother. But they're also teaching her, developing her, protecting her, and she is growing with them. So much like we're getting Grogu's story through the Mandalorian, we're seeing that develop. We're also seeing here, and just like Ahsoka in the Clone Wars, there are people that argue the Clone Wars animated series is really the Ahsoka show.
Yeah,
seven seasons of Ahsoka. And
did you see what Will said right there? He says, Will asked, when did Ahsoka start doing something? And if you actually look at it, it's not until Tarkin and that frame job starts to happen, and she walks away from the Jedi, that character becomes the character that we're into.
But we need to stop comparing Omega to Ahsoka, because Ahsoka was Anakin's Padawan. Omega is a clone. But
we can look at it in terms of narrative devices. When did something happen in the narrative that it actually like now it's like, whoa, this character has gone from A to Z. And that's what happens with her is when she's like a Jedi, and then all of a sudden she's going against them. She's going on her own. Like all of this, we see a through line of character development and change and surprise. And where I agree with Megas, I don't think that's really going to happen in the story unless she finds out like Boba's alive. But at the point that we have, but the way that the story's set up. So here's the contradiction. In season 1, like, oh my God, she's Boba Fett's sister. But then we go on to say, oh, these are all her brothers. So why is Boba any more important than, you know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Like they've actually given two pathways to the character about what to do with her, and what's her trajectory, other than just things happening to her isn't like character growth. That's just adventure time, right?
But she's
I just
developing.
feel as though we have all these fan discussions and predictions and speculation, and then the episode drops and it's just basic, easy to watch, nothing deeper, surface level stuff every single time. In season 2, I mean, season 1 was pretty good. But so far I'm not seeing any of this. I feel like we're watching two different shows. It's like I feel like if Omega breathes, someone's gonna say, "Oh, well, see, it's symbolic of the life she's providing for her brothers." Like she does nothing.
She's learning lessons along the way, and like here with Kashyyyk, the connection to Gungi, and seeing the Wookiee traditions and all that, and just learning like there's a bigger world out there. There's other things going on, and seeing that. I think, as she put, just like Ezra's the main character of Rebels, Ahsoka's the main character of Clone Wars, Omega's the main character of the Bad Batch. We're only halfway through, not even halfway, but almost halfway through season 2. If there were 7 seasons of the Bad Batch, if you stopped halfway through season 2 of the Clone Wars, where would you be on Ahsoka?
Not a fair example because it's an anthology series.
Well, but it's similar.
If you want to go, No,
parallel.
but we could map it though. Next week, we could map it. We could go through and take the actual Ahsoka-centric episodes of the Clone Wars and then give it an episode count. How many episodes are those? And then what would that be in terms of the show? And we could map it that way. That would be fair because it's anthology, you know. If we took like the episode order, the like take it out of an anthology format, put it into the Align. But she's only like how old is she? Like 12, 13? I can't tell. But she's like a little kid, you know? And so it's like, and she's not a Jedi, so it's like there's not a lot of places to put her or for her to grow into. And it's simply like she's a good guy. That's like the point of her for the show. So I think that's what makes the show not good for grown-ups. But
I'm just
what did it aggressively say?
It reminds me of this book where I was reading about this hobbit. He goes on this pointless side quest and finds a magic ring. What's that have to do with the story? Completely pointless. Isn't it about Sauron? Why are we following these hobbits around, you losers? Okay.
No. When did that happen? When did that happen for Omega? No,
it's happening. We're watching it.
It's not. It's not. You're putting faith in it. I'm just telling you, she didn't get a ring.
Skin is peeling off my face.
No. I'm dumb. Explain it to me. What has she got? What was the ring? What's the talisman that she's picked up along the way? I literally don't know. It's the adventure was the friends we met along the way, I guess.
Yeah, well, we got to see her develop. We got to see her grow. Like, it's a longer process. It's what I keep saying about, like, this isn't a shake and bake. You know, put it in a microwave, and 30 seconds later, it's done. Also, sit down and eat your meal. This is a 30 we got to let it grow.
This is going to get 2 seasons. Maybe
that's what I'm worried about. That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, if it's just going to be like this, 2 seasons is all it deserves.
You're killing me.
No, but that's where I'm afraid of Disney animation with Star Wars or the current state of animation for Star Wars, when the people that control the keys to the canon, like Filoni, aren't there on a day-to-day. I think whoever's doing we need somebody who can make big calls in animation that can do epic storytelling that isn't Filoni, because he's gone on. He's not really there anymore. Right. And the people running the show, I think, are doing a good job of making it making the cogs turn. But I don't think they can go on and jump Boba Fett into the next episode. I get what Meg's saying about quit comparing her to Ahsoka. I'm not like making a 1-to-1 comparison. I'm making the story arc comparison where you've got a preteen going through their self-discovery and growth into a fully fledged adult hero. And it's a bit of a hero's journey along the way. We get to see it over a long form. It doesn't happen in 2 episodes. Doesn't happen in a season and a half. But what is her flaw?
Wait, but Ahsoka was a Jedi from the get-go. That was always more interesting than a clone who just follows around with her brothers.
But where I lose the thread with Omega herself as a character is I don't really see like a flaw or something to overcome, except for like I lived in a cloning facility, so I don't necessarily understand what a kaleidoscope is.
And they never address what she learned on Camino.
And what does she want?
Everything but giving us what's actually interesting about her, which was her working for the Kaminoans and her origin story and a possible allusion to maybe powers of more powers that she has. To me, they're just doing everything not interesting about Omega, including the stupid outfit they gave her in season 2.
I like the outfit. I'm going to stick up for the outfit, you guys. I'm going to stick up for the outfit.
She looks like she works for UPS.
She's not a Jedi. She's not a Padawan. I get that. Well, I'm not trying to argue she is. I'm saying she's a preteen, adolescent, moving through to become a hero. At some point, what is her trajectory? What is she going to become? She's going to become a hero, not a Jedi. Well, so I'm not making that comparison like she's learning the ways of the Force. I'm not saying that she's learning the ways of the Jedi Order. I'm saying that she's going to grow into a hero. We've got to see that happen. Right now, she's a young preteen who's learning her way. She's making mistakes. She's running into problems. And problems of the week, sure. It's a fun adventure story. And I enjoy each episode to just be an adventure story. Awesome. Fun story. And then along the way, we'll see her character learn lesson after lesson after lesson. And I'm fine with that. It doesn't have to happen overnight. It doesn't have to happen even in the context of just this season. We'll give it time.
But you can do that and actually put it on a solid story structure. Like my problem with the show is I don't know what Omega wants. I don't know what Omega's looking for. I don't know what, like Frodo. You guys are the ones who brought it up.
She's a preteen. She doesn't know yet. She's on the
no. That's real life. We're not asking what college she wants to go to. Like we're not saying that. I mean, but this is a story. Anakin Skywalker's 8 years old. What does he want to do? He wants to become a Jedi. He wants what does she want? They need to do that in the show.
She wants to be a part of a family. She wants to belong. That's it right now.
But you could want to be a Jedi and have that. That's not really a character arc.
Look, let's be clear. These are my friends, and
no, we're not friends anymore. I hate.
I know. Guts. You're both making me crazy.
But what I am saying, and what. But I mean, everybody knows this. I mean, they know this. You can have her want to be a Jedi, want to be a bounty hunter. You can have her want to find her family. You can have her want to find a home. You can have her want to restore. Like she needs a bold point that she wants to achieve, a goal and then she can learn all of this stuff along the way about honor and how to fight and morality, all of that stuff. But like Frodo wants to take the freaking ring somewhere, right? Like they're doing something. Mando, what does Mando want? I don't really know what Mando wants.
What's Grogu really want right now? We haven't seen Grogu's mission in life. He already turned off this ability to become a Jedi. He turned down Luke. What's his whole point in life?
Mando wants
to get Grogu. I don't think you can apply it to Grogu. Grogu's already been given such an interesting backstory. He was at the Jedi Temple. He was at Order 66. He survived. We don't know what happened in that kind of 20-year period. I think it's 20 years. Between 28 years, sorry. Then he was on Arvala 7 with pirates. We don't know that. They've given us a reason to be like, this is a Yoda species. This is a guy who's experienced a lot. There's way more from in his future. Omega had all of the similar potential in season 1 in a different way, and they've gone out of their way to explore that. That's what I'm saying.
But Grogu and Omega is the protagonist. Grogu isn't. Grogu's the point. He's what our hero is trying to do. He's trying to protect and take him somewhere. And so what the show needs is it needs a goal. It needs to have there needs to be an overarching thing for that character. And we've had almost how many episodes? 5 episodes so far of this year of her she got out of the cloning facility last season. That's fine. But what are we doing now? What is the character doing? It's not really doing very much. And so it's not actually that's not very responsive storytelling. And I gotta say though, just growing in terms of now I trust Sid. That's not really a story,
It'll get there.
That's
all right. It'll be all right.
But I've had 5 episodes of stories that haven't got there.
It's all right.
Is it?
It doesn't have to.
Is it? Because I think
Give it time.
I don't think so. I think two-thirds of the panel are kind of out on it.
I know. Look, and this is what cracks me up is a lot of people say, Santa, your stream is unfair because you get people that just agree with you. No, not true.
No.
Most of the people on my Discord disagree with me. Everybody disagrees with me. Even on my own Discord, nobody, come on, guys. No. Look, the Mike Porter dad joke. What's the name of Anakin's dessert shop on Mustafar? And this is a free gift, I think. Anybody who really is into pastries and desserts, this is still an opportunity. You don't have to turn it. This is great. Mike Porter. What's the name of Anakin's dessert shop?
Lava cake? Oh no. What's the shop called?
You have the Pie Ground.
All right. All right.
That could actually be a name of a pastry shop.
Yeah.
Right. It's fantastic. I think it's fantastic. So, hey, my expectations, what I want out of the Bad Batch is clearly different than what Jason wants out of the Bad Batch or what Meg wants out of the Bad Batch. Clearly different. And that's
Can I just make one more point for Grogu?
Sure.
Grogu is responsible. Like, he saw that mudhorn coming towards Din, and he used the Force against it. Omega leads people into situations where they're going to get screwed.
Well, she does fire that crossbow. You know, she's effective. She's getting there. Right? She's getting there. Calm down. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. She's not 50 years old either. I saw a funny joke talking about how it's again Anakin's impatience to become a Jedi Knight, right? And that he's 19 years old and whining because he's still a Padawan, and then it shows Yoda like, I was a Padawan for 50 years. Shut up. Right?
Yeah, originally, Obi-Wan Kenobi is like supposed to be 28 in the Phantom Menace, and when you look at modern Star Wars, that makes Obi-Wan like that guy who won't leave college, right?
It's true.
It's like
true.
the Bo-Katan thing, isn't it? The Bo-Katan age plot hole.
Yeah,
yeah,
she looks great. It's that Mandalorian moisturizer. It just does wonders.
Yeah, and you know what? It doesn't have to mean the same thing to everyone. And it's a point we've been making several times. Like, we are getting a lot of different Star Wars content delivered to us. There's a lot more Star Wars content being delivered to us, and not all of it is going to be for everyone. And people,
I'm not expecting
your mileage may vary person to person.
I'm not expecting Bad Batch to do what Andor does. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that, though, I could outline a fairy tale. I can't outline this story right now. I can't outline this character arc right now. I just don't see it.
Well,
yeah.
I wish I could argue with you guys the rest of the day, but I've got a meeting in 4 minutes. And
Can I come?
Grab some lunch.
Can I come with you?
You don't want to. Trust me. I don't want to. It's the way it is. Megan, thank you so much for hanging out with me and arguing with me today. I love it. And Jason, thank you.
I'm a buzzkill.
Oh, it's great. It's great. This is perfect. This is exactly what the fandom needs, and it's great. I'm blessed to have both of you as friends.
Good
so
time.
You guys have a wonderful day, and I've got to end this over here on YouTube. So I've got my button on my finger on the button. Have a wonderful day. Until next time, my friends.
Bye-bye.
Merry Christmas. May the Force be with you always. Bye bye.